My name's Richard St. Clair, and I'm the costume designer for our production of Reconstruction. And these are some costume sketches and costume research that I'm going to share with you. So the first thing a designer does is reads the script, and this is a new script that no one's ever produced before. And so when I read the script, I was struck by our playwright Robert Schenkkan talking about our lead character John Lynch being surrounded by his photography equipment of his youth. This play is set in two different time periods. So it's set in 1915 and it's set in basically 1870. So by creating two different color palettes, I can create these two different worlds so the audience understands when we are in this play, because the time switches back and forth. And so building on this idea of photographs, I found photographs of these are photographs from 1915, and by 1915 photographs were in sepia and they were printed on paper. And in the 19th century, photographs were printed on tin. You've heard the word tintypes maybe, and they were all in these kind of deep, dark, velvety blacks, and it was based on like a silver emulsion that they put the tin in to make the photograph take. So we developed this idea that the 19th century would be all in black and gray and white and very hard kind of cold colors, and that 1915 would be in very warm colors. So this play is about a famous politician that no one has ever heard about because history has erased him, named John Roy Lynch. This is the sketch for John Lynch here. So almost everyone has pieces they add in the show, so all my sketches have two figures on them. So we meet him, again, it was described in the script, we meet him in shirt sleeves. And so here he is in his shirt sleeves with his vest, and then in the course of the play he has a jacket and a coat, a jacket and a hat that he adds in the course of the play as part of the storytelling. And he's with his niece Mabel, who is about to go out and be in a protest about the film Birth of a Nation. So she's dressed in the style of 1915, but this actress also has to play characters in the 19th century. So in 1870 she plays his fiancée, Agnes. And so her skirt color kind of is what I would call grayish, so it can be warm when we see it in the scenes in the 1910s, and it can read cooler when we see it in a cooler light in the 1870s, and then she gets this little jacket that's based on an actual Civil War dress. What we were struck with when we got into the 19th century research was how similar all the white politicians who are featured in this play look. And so the director and I developed this idea that these men are all cut from the same cloth. So we're literally making their coats that they add in the show from the same fabric so that they all match on stage. So these are three of the four frock coats that we're going to be building for these men. We also have black politicians, but they're all in gray, so we can kind of keep them separate. But they're as richly dressed as the white men because they have to be in competition with these white men in the world of politics in the 19th century. And all these men's clothes are based both on period research and on the Christian Dior menswear collection from 2025, summer 2025. I was halfway designing this show and this image came onto my Facebook one day, and I think I screamed out loud and copied it immediately because it kind of expressed exactly what I wanted to do with these clothes, to make them feel period and contemporary at the same time. So these are all pictures of that collection of Dior clothes. If you watch any show, including things that are reality TV like The Real Housewives, like people chose those clothes. Designers or stylists chose those clothes for people to wear. If you watch Abbott Elementary, like they're dressed like real people, but a designer made all those choices and chose all those clothes. But I'd say anyone who's interested in trying the world of costume design, get involved with theater, because if People who can do theater can do anything, because we're working always under like deadlines and stress and budgets and things like that. So working in theater like prepares you for any kind of design out in the real world. Thank you for coming to our production of Reconstruction. I hope that this makes you more aware of how simple costume changes can make people change from one character to another character, sometimes in a matter of seconds. And I hope you appreciate the beautiful costumes that were made by the costume shop here at the festival.